Welcome back to Key Arena. Gus Johnson along with Coach Bill Raftery. Oklahoma State and Gonzaga are ready to knuckle up here in the battle in Seattle. Eddie Sutton, 16th season at Oklahoma State, truly one of the great teachers in college basketball, in the game of basketball, period. And a look at the starting lineup. Keep your eye on number 24, James Curry, a prolific scorer coming out of high school in North Carolina. He was held scoreless in their most recent game against Northwestern State. The first time he's gone scoreless in 29 games. And for Gonzaga, Mark Few in his 7th season, and quietly he's established one of the most dominant teams, not only in the country, but also right here on the West Coast. Arizona, the only other dominating West Coast team. So these teams have met before last season. Oklahoma State and Gonzaga faced each other in Oklahoma City, and the Zags won it 78-75 on the road. Look at the officials: Dave Livy, Tim Gabutero, and Rick Batzel. So, Coach Raftery, as you take a look at the series history, what should we pay attention to early on in this game?
Well, you mentioned Curry. He's got to get out of that sophomore jinx, and I think more importantly, the ability to get back defensively, make the Zags work in their half-court offense.
Great crowd on hand here in Seattle as the Oklahoma State Cowboys come onto the floor, and this is going to be fun, folks. This young man here has been compared to Larry Bird. He told me yesterday that he studied Larry Bird to see how he came off screens and how he got shots, and he's got all the shots, Coach.
It's amazing. His range is one thing, but he understands mismatches too. So if there is a switch, he can plumb bob on a jump shot or post a smaller defender.
And, Coach, they're saying Larry Bird. To me, he reminds me of Kiki Vandeweghe.
Well, you're much older, so you can go back to that. But I think he's a little bit like Rip Hamilton, using screens. Reggie Miller, another guy that understands how to come off prepared to be a threat.
All right, Oklahoma State, Gonzaga, the opening tap controlled by the Zags.
And Gus Johnson, Oklahoma State, goes. Minute.
Jeremy Pargo is starting today at the point for the Zags because their regular point guard and the whistle inside, Derek Ravio, has a tender back at stiff, and he is in uniform, may come into the game a little later on.
And talking to the coaches, they feel he's about 60% Ravio. And again, Morrison's ability, they ran a nice double screen. He can elevate over people and has very unusual releases around the rim.
Adam Morrison has 2 43-point games this season, averaging close to 30, 29.7, leading the nation. And he gave Michigan State 43, also gave Washington 43.
Very impressive in both those games. I was fortunate enough to be in Maui. The weather was very nice, by the way. And to see that great classic with Michigan State.
Byron Eaton is the point guard. He's an All-America out of Texas. And they will look for him to get his teammates involved early.
Now they double the box and good power move. And look at the aggressive offensive rebounding. That's a big concern, I think, for Gonzaga.
Mallon backdoor, Pargo. A little too strong. Batista with the rebound inside and a foul.
Well, once you get the ball on the box, you've got to have something in mind. Here's a great double. Consistently, you will see Gonzaga get down there. But then again, that opens up the ability to the offensive rebound if you don't recover and stick your guy.
Mario Bogan with the tip in. That brings in J.P. Batista at the free throw line, where he has been excellent this season, shooting free throws at 94%.
And we talk a lot about Morrison's ability, Gus, and rightfully so, but this guy enables him to do a lot of things. They've coordinated a lot of passing situations to one another. Of course, his big body, great screener as well.
Batista missing the second. Eaton quickly into the front court, tried to dump it inside to Mario Bogan, their leading scorer at 12 points per game. And they throw it out of bounds.
And Gus, that's one of the problems for Eddie Sutton. One of the scowls will come on turnovers. Eaton has to value the ball. Almost 4 turnovers a game.
Gonzaga coming off a 67-53 win over Washington State on Thursday. They have taken on all comers this season. Mallon inside, lost it. It's deflected. He picks it up on the baseline. Now Morrison, rise and fire. And the rebound goes to Marcus Dove.
Now you get those looks from Morrison. Normally it's a knockdown.
James on Curry, all-time leading scorer in the state of North Carolina as a schoolboy. And that's off the mark by David Mons.
Now Gonzaga really puts pressure on you to get back. Great play into the passing lane that time by Dove.
Oklahoma State with numbers, and Eton will go to the line. So Pargo picks up the foul.
Trying to recover the floor is essential if you're playing Gonzaga. The early offense, they're very effective. Great job getting in the passing lane. You can see everybody's protected the 3-second lane and peeled off.
Eton, also a terrific football player in high school. And one thing you know about Eddie Sutton, he's had a lot of guys go on to play professional basketball from his teams over the last 3 years, but he always makes sure that his squad defends.
Well, the big thing with this team is I think they understand how to defend, but they don't do it for long enough periods. That's his big concern, and I wouldn't want to be one of these players in the next week or two because they're going to go home and work on defense, double sessions. I wouldn't want to play them later in the month.
Matter of fact, he's going to put helmets and shoulder pads on them and clear the gym.
He's done that before. Nice post entry, and this is where he stood. Not a good look there for him. Baptista.
Beautiful rebound by Aaron Petway. And here comes James on Curry. Scoreless against Northwestern State. Oklahoma State coming off a 68-64 loss to Northwestern State on Monday at home.
Dove does a nice job getting back on Morrison. He's not going to the 3-second lane. Morrison very active, Gus, always looking to use a body.
Here's Morrison on the baseline, double team, has it blocked. Batista has it blocked. And Bogan comes up with the rebound. Curry, rise and fire.
Not a good look there.
Now Pargo, whose brother played at Arkansas and now is with the Chicago Bulls.
Turn and look. He loves to go opposite. Morrison wide open.
Inside, Mallon can't hold on. Oklahoma State very active with deflections already in this game.
Okay, the low scoring certainly favors Oklahoma State. Got to keep this high octane offense under control. They have thus far.
Pargo the other way. 3 turnovers for Oklahoma State. Pulls up baseline, no. Tapped around, out of bounds, and will stay right here.
Well, you know they were going to come in with a game plan, Oklahoma State. They're real good understanding. That's what he does great. He'll fade. If you get hidden under the screen, he understands. Now look at the coordination underneath, Gus. A lot of big people. You need more than one to stop this All-American.
Eddie Sutton got his team's attention after that loss to Northwestern State. As a matter of fact, it was the first time in 45 games they fall to a non-conference opponent. Inside, Mallon double clutch and gets the bounce.
And that's the guy they need to light it up. He's got to be more of a threat. Coaches have talked about it. And before the game, he said he understands he has to play well for them to be good.
Curry looking to get on track.
Oh, nice inside screen.
Beautifully done.
Wasn't that pretty? Good, solid turn away.
David Mons, a junior from Macon, Georgia. And Oklahoma State takes a 2-point lead. Pargo, the crossover, lost it. Lead pass, Eton, straight to the basket.
Nice run out. Gonzaga really struggling with the basketball.
There's that Oklahoma State defense.
You get the feeling the Zags are in too much of a hurry?
Yes, I do.
Don't you? There's Morrison cutting. Dove is playing him very well.
Morrison.
Nice pump.
Short. Mons there. And it's knocked out of bounds. We'll head the other way. Oklahoma State taking it right at Gonzaga early, leading by 4. We'll be back to Seattle right after this. Oklahoma State with an 8-4 lead. Gonzaga starts 1 of 8 from the field, turning it over 3 times. And this is the man they missed. Derek Rivio makes it a lot easier for Adam Morrison.
Well, he sure does. He can penetrate and find. He can play with Pargo at the point. A 1-2-2 out of the timeout by Gonzaga, trying to force the issue. Good control.
Eddie Sutton had the Cowboys working on this yesterday in practice, breaking this zone press. Curry off the heel, and here come the Zags.
A nice call from the bench, giving a little side pick and roll, give Curry a look, and small change here.
And a foul called on Eton. Visit CBS Sportsline tonight for a complete wrap-up of all of today's action. Watch video highlights and get in-depth analysis from our team of experts only at CBSSportsline.com. Eton picks up his first foul. Pierre Altidore Cespedes, number 4, is running the point now for the Zags. Here's Altidore Cespedes throwing it inside.
Mons there trying to front Baptista. They didn't get the ball to the top. Down the end of the game, you mentioned Rivio with his back problems. How about some of the faces you see on Eddie Sutton? The expressions are priceless.
Mons picks up his second.
He'll have a seat in Springfield someday.
And this one goes against Gonzaga. Beautiful defense by Eton. And the Zags have now turned it over for the 4th time.
They do a great job making you catch away from the basket. Look at this anticipation, harassing the inbound passer, and great denial by Eton.
So Eton finding James on Curry. Bogan, who doesn't have a bad mid-range jump shot from about 16 feet and in. There he is on the baseline and hits.
Good call. Prendergast there's got to get that hand up and shout. They don't see the ball here. Got to face the ball. Downey running down. Not a good pass, but you've still got to see the basketball. Mark, unfamiliar with his team here. Nice step out. You can see Prendergast trying to help. He does get out, but a little tardy on that challenge. They get good shots, Oklahoma State. They try not to beat themselves. That's what I think has shocked them. Turnovers and faulty defense.
Oklahoma State on a 6-0 run. And a traveling call on James on Curry.
Let it come to you, James on.
He's been pressing, coach.
Yep.
And he's playing tentatively now as he searches for his offense.
And as you look at the possessions, they struggle as well for the Zags. And letting the game come to you when you're like Curry. Everybody is prepared for you a little bit better this year. You got to set your man up better and be patient.
Altidore Cespedes feeds the post. Baseline turnaround jump shot goes down. Beautifully done by J.P. Batista.
Well, he's going to have to ring the bell because Dove is not leaving his man. Cespedes with the small change outside. And Gus getting it inside, a big factor. They like to turn and go opposite with the pass, but you can see his ability, Baptista, to go away from traffic. Big, wide body, really can control the defender.
Altidore Cespedes picks up his first. Oklahoma State with the lead. Now Curry explodes, attacks, comes up short. Batista with the rebound.
And Morrison getting down the floor, but Dove not leaving him. He's not helping out.
Morrison, beautiful spin move and banking.
Well, you've got to trap him. Once he made that spin, Gus, he should not have been able to slither through. Get the feet together, shoulder to shoulder.
Morrison on the board. 10-8, Oklahoma State. Morrison with 3 points. His first field goal.
Nice job inside. They harass the passer outside.
Eton brings it back, calling for a screen.
Nice hand hedge.
9 to shoot. Breaks down the defense. Curry, extra pass. Eton sets. Pure.
How about that? A gamble, and you pay for it defensively.
Byron Eton, the freshman from Dallas Lincoln High School. Now Batista again working hard on the baseline. The big fella. Beautiful touch.
You notice Morrison, though, Dove is out. There's no help or rake down on Baptista because of Morrison. Dove is just concentrating on his man. Here's the run out. You can see Dove, he is not going to jam the lane. His job is to play this guy. But on this spin, Gus, you've got to get some support. Everybody's counting the house. Mons that time should have helped. But here's the gamble, Gerganius, and the drill by Eton.
Adam Morrison today.
The job that Dove has done on him has been extraordinary, Gus. He's not leaving him. Despite the principles of jamming when the ball's opposite, he is staying at home, trailing him any place, and good players then find a way. Loosens him up with the bounce, and the one time they didn't coordinate and trap on the baseline.
So there's Morrison, 1 of 4 from the field so far, 3 points. And Marcus Dove, a sophomore from Long Beach, California, has taken it personally in practice the past couple of years. He's guarded Tony Allen, an NBA player, Joey Graham, an NBA player, and John Lucas, the MVP of the Big 12. So they feel at Oklahoma State that he has the ability to be one of the best defenders in the country. And he's got size as well at 6'9".
He can block shots. He really understands position defensively.
Dove and Morrison going at it. Curry, along with Jamal Brown, has come in to run the point for Oklahoma State.
Nice coordination on defense. Morrison left the ball.
Torrey Johnson Jr. off the mark. Morrison, nice look. Gerganius can't get it to go, but a foul on the baseline.
How many All-Americans would have taken that jumper? Morrison gave it up.
So tomorrow, don't miss the season finale of the Toughest Survivor Ever. 3 tribal councils, 2 heart-stopping hours.
Double bonus each way. No timeouts left. The arrow for St. Joe's. And they've rallied without
injury, decimated. Just the shortcoming. Height felt hurt. 6'10", excellent performer. He is out. Just a good feel. Of course, Earl Knight, one of their stalwarts on the wing, 6'6", can defend. He had that knee scope, Gus, so they're not deep up front.
Weak side, Brown coming off an 18-point game, his best game as a Cowboy against Northwestern State.
A nice double of the box. See how they handle the back.
Plenty of time. James on Curry. There's Brown. And the rebound squirts out, picked up by Fargo. He's got Morrison on the weak side. Morrison, baseline jump shot, short. Batista, offensive rebound, short. And the rebound goes to Aaron Petway.
Now, Petway did a nice job getting back.
Nice look.
Pass, huh?
Beautifully done. Curry finding Torrey Johnson Jr.
And Torrey Johnson Jr. has a little game, too, Gus. He really understands offense.
Averages 12 points per game. He's from Milwaukee. Backdoor.
Nice.
Morrison. Count it. And the foul.
Great. Just unbelievable. Step and go.
Now that was Bird-esque. Without the ball.
The lingerie on the deck. How about that? Step and go, and Baptista just makes great entry passes. That time found his partner.
Brown picks up the foul, his first. 16 fouls against Oklahoma State. And take a look at Adam Morrison, averaging 29, leads the country. Field goal attempts, minutes, plays virtually the entire game as he hits the free throw. And to tie it at 15.
He's going to get a rest now, but do you ever see a guy that scores that many points? He doesn't take many bad shots. Plays within the system. It's fun to play with him. You can see that with this team.
He's a 54% shooter. And you say he doesn't take bad shots. He has not fallen in love, Coach, with the three-point shot. Only 33 attempts this year. Double dribble called against Oklahoma State.
Well, James John is certainly not playing his game, and Eddie just letting them play through it.
So here come the Zags. Pargo leading the way. Out the door, Cespedes, Gerganius, Mallon, Batista.
Great job denying, and look at him just ducking back. Nice look now. Good defense. Yeah. But that was his job. If they double the box, sprint to the 10.
Roderick Fleming in the game now. Gonzaga on a 9-2 run. Curry in the paint, and he buries it. That's what he has to do.
And you know what's nice? Eddie let him play through it, though. Too good.
Pargo. And here comes Curry tracking it down right in front of us.
Get up, Gus.
But that's what you want to see from James on Curry.
Well,
to play with speed.
And they've been waiting for that, too. Unfortunately, I don't like him hustling into our announce position here. Look at the great hand. I always have my hands ready defensively.
It's dangerous being a cameraman.
Yeah, we got a few feet to spare.
Game tied up at 17. Approaching the 9-minute mark. Morrison curling around screens. Fleming's chasing him. Out the door, Cespedes, 15-foot pull-up. Way short. He gets his own rebound. The kick. Reversal. Fires. And out of bounds.
Making a team pay on a double is very important. Sometimes you'll drag him out with the dribble. Occasionally, as the ball gets inside, the sniff. And Mallon doing a great job getting himself to the rim. Sean really has to contribute, I think, for them to be formidable come March.
Jamal Brown along with Dove in the backcourt. David Mons, James on Curry, and Bogan. Bogan on the baseline again. That's his shot. 16 feet and in.
And they're dragging Baptista away from the rim, too. He's not as comfortable guarding.
Hogan with 4 points now. Batista, good passer. Mallon is knocked off the ball as Dove comes up with the steal.
Boy, he had Morrison if he looked high.
Hogan dumps it down. Morrison with the steal. Here comes Adam Morrison. Cut off.
He does pry with the bend. Look at Baptiste. Oh, is that pretty?
Beautiful.
Got to finish the deal. Boy, does he take up some area in that 3-second lane.
Curry steps back, picks it up. Mons.
Nice decision, wasn't it? Curry with the step back for the jumper. Finds his partner in a better spot.
21-17, Oklahoma State. Trying to rebound from that very disappointing loss to Northwestern State at home. Morrison.
Wow. With disdain on the drop step.
Wow. Timeout on the floor. Eddie Sutton's not happy with that defensive effort, and he is letting Mons know about it. You can't guard him. Morrison starting to heat up now. 8 points. Eddie Sutton calls him the most complete player in America, and he's showing why. 21-19, Cowboys. 21-19, and Eddie Sutton said that Adam Morrison was the best player in the nation, not the most athletic, because you can tell by watching him play that he practices exactly the same way he plays.
He's gotten better without the ball, too. That progression's incredible. He was mad at Mons. Nice slip. They do that very well. Screen, go to the rim, solid look, and Bogan.
Bogan doing a very nice job. 6 points now. Perfect from the field, 3 of 3.
You've got to make the back cut when they extend defensively.
Mallon. Out the door, Cespedes.
Good ball movement. Good reversal.
23-22. Great atmosphere here in the Emerald City for the battle in Seattle. James on Curry. High archer.
Nice play.
Altidore Cespedes, he's got Morrison trailing, but he's taking it right to the bucket and draws a foul.
Wow. Ooh. You got to find the big guy. He dodged one on the penetration. How quick is Eton with the defensive maneuver? Great read, Cespedes. Altidore to the 10. Ooh. Bang, bang.
All right, the game summary presented by American Express. Oklahoma State getting off to a good shooting start at 56%, but they've committed 17 fouls. Gus Johnson with the coach Raftery. I like Adam Morrison. Yesterday he said he practices with one thing in mind: game shots, game spots, game speed.
Well, this week he had a tough week. Washington State, he gets 25 points. Dick Bennett controls the game. Today, the mindset, same thing. Oklahoma State, they're not going to give you a lot of opportunities. He wants to win. Whether it's 15 points, 25 or more, this young guy understands the game.
So Morrison started off slowly, but now he has gotten warm. There's his parents in the stands. John and Wanda Morrison. So Pierre Altidore Cespedes goes to the free throw line and hits the first.
Got to be a great feeling seeing your son play, and then to play at this level, something extraordinary. They can hire somebody to do that for them. I mean, Mark Few ought to reach into his pocket. Get a cameraman for the Morrisons.
24-23. We've had 5 ties. Oklahoma State has led by as many as 6. Jamal Brown. Nice. The point inside, and Bogan fouled.
I think it was Prendergast came over a little bit late. A great read, but ended up with the small change.
Bogan started his college career at Florida.
That's that inside screen. They run a double on occasion. Boy, you get the ball down in, you can be king.
Eton back in the game with Brown in the backcourt, 2 5'11" guards. For the Cowboys, they reverse it. Brown, Bogan straight away.
How about that? I literally recognized, too, the 2-3 zone, trying to match up. Boy, bringing his game downtown.
9 points for Bogan, who, as I mentioned, started his career at Florida for Billy Donovan. Things didn't work out. Went to junior college and then came back to Oklahoma State. He comes up with the steal, turns a corner. Watch out.
Just in the right position. Prendergast's got to step and go. You can't throw the ball loosely on the perimeter. Extraordinary denial. At some point, you got to dribble at the man and make him go. Bring it in here and step and go. But here's a show of strength. Bogan first with a 3, and then the strong. Send it in.
Coming up tomorrow on CBS, it's the NFL doubleheader action, the big game, Indianapolis and Jacksonville. Indianapolis trying to improve to 13-0 and become only the 3rd team to start 13-0 during a season.
Nice slip to the goal, and the defense once again prepared.
9 turnovers for the Zags as Dove brings it the other way. Bogan has been hot, 5 for 5, 11 points. He's their leading scorer at 12 per game.
Shuffle cut, and then a double on the other side.
Stop and start. Eton picks up his dribble in no man's land.
Brown was the guy they were looking to get the jump shot for. Side pick and roll, inside screens.
Bogan again. Finally missed one.
Nice job by Prendergast holding off and getting it.
Morrison the other way.
He uses the big guy well and then spaces out. It's a great 2-man game these kids run.
Morrison curls down the lane, stripped and fouled.
Should be a non-shooting. Making yourself available. Keep the footwork going. Just a great feel for the game. They dribble handoff Gus very well. Here you can see the little rake with an opportunity for him to knock down 2.
Morrison goes to the line. Dove picks up his 2nd foul. Stays in the game. Morrison Watch Larry Bird learned how to work off screens, also how to find his shots. What does that mean, find your shots?
Well, be available like he did. Don't stand still. Don't let the defense recover. Make sure that you use your bumps very well. You know, John Havlicek's another guy. I mentioned Reggie.
Who?
John Hondo, getting free and having an offensive mentality. But I just think he understands the distance, how to set you up. His anticipation is Larry Bird-like.
Remember, you got to get a lot of young guys watching this game, Coach. Who was John Havlicek?
John Havlicek, number 17. Hondo stole the ball!
For the Boston Celtics. There you go.
From Ohio State, great teammate of Bob Knight. Jerry Lucas. And Larry Siegfried comes to mind, too. See?
Kenny Cooper is checked in for Oklahoma State, number 40. They're really high on him. He's 6'9". Pull-up jump shot, Cooper.
Boy, is that being ready to play. Coaches all stand over to James Dickey, Sean Sutton.
Inside, Batista turns, double team, jump hook, short, tipped around, no. Dove clears it, and here comes Eton. Inside, Bogan, blocked from behind by Mallon, picked up Dove. Loose change deposited, and Oklahoma State takes a 32-26 lead.
Boy, being in the right spot, they do that inside screening here. Batista gets Cooper leaning on him. It's tough to get around them in that 3-second lane.
So Oklahoma State attacking. The block is there, but Dove finishes 32-26. Let's update our singular game analysis.
Why?
Because you came up with all this.
Well, it's not Willie, it's Eddie. The ability to guard. We've seen that. The 9 getting runouts, and Morrison playing solid basketball within himself, but they're not the same team because everybody's getting back for Oklahoma State. And Batista, a guy that has to get more touches. But how about this guy, huh? Bogan loading it up. The jump shot, the face-up, the freeze. With this club, it's all about denial. Being in the passing lane. Some great strength, the rundown, and then the strong completion.
Bogan
Super Mario. Excuse me.
Super Mario, great name. 5 of 6, 11 points. Bogan, as I mentioned, he came from Florida, and he's pretty much had to raise himself, Coach. His mom and dad not really in his life, and he has met his father actually one time when he was about 4 years old, and has had to raise himself in the process. His mother not really in his life. And he is a very, very solid and grounded young man. Had a chance to talk with him yesterday.
It's incredible what these kids do and some of the circumstances they come from. He came back from a little injured foot as well. Well, that's the great relationship coaches develop with players too, Gus. A little 1-4 here. Shuffle cut, and then they either pin down, or in this case, use the bump.
Now Eton to Dove, who's playing with a tender wrist, so offensively he's not a threat. But is a terrific defender. As we mentioned, Bogan again pops out. Got it.
Very easy, huh? Screen, space out.
How simple can it get? Mario Bogan, the junior from Durham, North Carolina, with 13 points in the first half. Fargo picking up his dribble, and Bogan comes up with the steal. He's got Eton and Bogan. Eton, the football player, short, bounced around. Dove, blocked by Morrison.
Well, they really are letting him go. And Morrison leaking the floor, and Dove back. That Dove is anything but peaceful on the defensive end.
Fargo. His brother Gennaro played at Arkansas, now with the Bulls. He doesn't have his brother's jump shot. Morrison, that one contested by Dove, and a foul inside. Coming up against Gonzaga.
Well, the simplicity of what Oklahoma State runs, little side pick and roll, and then you space out. And Mallon just needs a little quicker closeout, but Bogan realizes the distance and able to convert.
Last 3 years, Eddie Sutton's team has been one of the best in college basketball. A Final Four appearance with John Lucas Jr., Tony Allen, Joey Graham, first-round picks. Brown, explodes, reverse layup short, gets it back at a new shot clock. E-time. Dribble drop.
What balance. You mentioned his football background there. Took the hit.
Said he wants to play strong safety for the Cowboys. And a whistle inside. An offensive foul against Bogan. Let's look at what Eddie Sutton has managed to accomplish in the last few years at Oklahoma State. 79 wins, 2 conference championships, 2 Sweet 16s, and the Final Four.
Of course, the great Henry Iba was his mentor and dear friend, high school coach, Southern Idaho Junior College, Creighton, Arkansas, Kentucky. Get your tickets now for the Hall of Fame, Gus.
Ball knocked away. Nice steal by Brown. Altidore Cespedes picks it back up. And he throws it away.
Well, you can't leave your feet, and Malin's just saying exactly what the coach, calm down. In a hurry. Morrison not getting touches, but the denial so terrific. Understanding how to get out, be in that passing lane.
Sean Sutton, the son of Eddie Sutton, who played his last couple of years at Oklahoma State, is what they call the head coach designate. Whenever his old man decides to leave, he will take over.
The heir apparent, and what Eddie wants is to have a team that's seasoned to give to his son. He doesn't want him with 8 new people like Eddie had this year.
Brown, hard dribble down the lane. Oh, how about the bounce?
Thank you, dear Lord. Divine intervention.
He's from Chicago. He has a big city game. Backdoor, Gerganius can't hold on. And a traveling violation against Fargo. 11 turnovers for the Zags. And they are really missing Derek Rivio right now, the junior from Vancouver, Washington. Oklahoma State with its largest lead. Don't forget, coming up on the Singular Halftime Report, Greg Gumbel and Seth Davis will break it down for you. Scores and highlights, and they'll also talk about Duke as they thump number 2 Texas today.
You think Seth will be smiling as they talk about Duke?
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
Very surprising outcome.
Cooper stripped and a reach in. Coming up against the Zags.
You mentioned Rivio not being out there. That's the head of this team. You know, Pargo is a guy that can come in for him, or they can play together. They don't have that luxury.
Talked to Rivio before the game, asked him if he was going to play. He told me, I have to see if my back can loosen up. If it does, then I'll give it a go.
Did you see him sliding? No, he really was not. So wincing a little bit, trying to do some defensive drills.
He stayed in Spokane last night for treatment. Didn't get in until today.
A little 2-3 look here. Let's see if they stay in it. They're 1-2-2 now.
Game clock turned off. They spread the floor for Brown. Let's see if they go after Curry. Brown has been good off the dribble early. 9 to shoot. Look at the patience. Inside. Bogan. Block. Flemings scores. And that is the end of the first half. Maybe the best first half of basketball of the season for Eddie Sutton and the Cowboys from Oklahoma State, leading 9th-ranked Gonzaga by 10.
Solid play on the defensive end.
38-28 the score. Now let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
Thanks, Gus. Coming up on Singular at the half, we'll get you caught up on scores and highlights, including Duke leaving no doubt about who's number 1. Seth Davis joins me after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports presents Singular at the half, sponsored by Singular, raising the bar.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Singular at the half. I'm Greg Gumbel. Our score out in Seattle, Oklahoma State leading Gonzaga 38-28. He's Seth Davis with Sports Illustrated. What in the heck is going on with the Bulldogs?
Well, I'll tell you what, besides not being at full strength, they've played a brutal schedule. You're talking about the Maui Invitational at Washington, a tough league game 2 nights ago. This is a tired basketball team.
And they are down by 10 at halftime, 38-28. Let's get you caught up on the rest of what's happening. Kentucky against Indiana. Robert Baden inside. Marco Killingsworth for the lay-in. And then Killingsworth dishes to Callaway, and Callaway hits the 3. And Marshall Strickland will hit a long jumper here, but we talked about Killingsworth at the top of the day.
Yeah, he's having a great day. Unfortunately, the Kentucky defense is not so far. Indiana 57% from the floor.
Kentucky's won 10 of the last 11 meetings against the Hoosiers. Coppin State and Oklahoma. Oklahoma's Austin Johnson with a 3 out of the corner as the Sooners jumped off to an early lead, and then State's Darrell Roberts with a 3 cut the Sooner lead back to 1.
And then off the inbounds pass, you can see Michael Neal, a junior college transfer for Oklahoma. He's going to bury the 3. Sooners up by 4 at that point, and nice basketball team, strong inside.
Oklahoma's never lost to Coppin State in 10 meetings. Doesn't look like they're going to lose here. 5:47 to play in the first half. New Mexico Lobos against Washington. This is the Huskies' Bobby Jones stealing the pass and going in for the jam at the other end as Washington jumped up early. And then Tony Dandridge of New Mexico with the reverse lay-in coming up right there. And Washington led big early on.
One of the really good freshmen in the country here, Greg. John Brockman, very strong inside, gets the bucket and the foul. That put Washington up by 13.
The Huskies are off to their best start in 15 years. 10.5 to play in the second half. They lead at 61-57. Texas Pan Am against Texas Tech. The Red Raiders' Tanner Ogden with the steal. And Jarius Jackson for the layup. 65-24 Tech. And then Jarius Jackson with the steal here in the layup. This was a Red Raiders game top to bottom.
Yeah, they needed an easy one, Greg. They've been struggling. They've lost their last 2 to San Francisco and Louisiana Tech. Alan Bosco going to pop the 3, and Bob Knight's team cruises.
Bob Knight now 860 career wins. Dean Smith at 879. Pitt's Panthers at home knocked off Penn State 91-54. Pitt now 34-1 against non-conference foes at the Peterson Events Center. Michigan and South Florida, the Wolverines with a lead 64-36. They are under 6.5 minutes to play in the second half. Remember, for up-to-the-minute sports news, real-time scores, outspoken writers, exclusive video, and award-winning fantasy sports, log on to CBSSportsline.com. And be sure to tune in tomorrow. NFL doubleheader comes your way here on CBS. Most of you will see the undefeated Indianapolis Colts taking on Jacksonville. In our second game, most will see the Chiefs against the Dallas Cowboys. It begins at noon Eastern time with the NFL Today. When we come back, we'll update you on today's earlier games, including that matchup between top-ranked teams in the country, Duke and Texas.
CBS Sports presents Singular at the Half, sponsored by Singular, raising the bar.
Welcome, everyone, to Singular at the Half. I'm Greg Gumbel, along with Seth Davis of Sports Illustrated. Let's get you caught up on scores and highlights of today's early action, including the opening game of our doubleheader. Number 1 against number 2 is supposed to be closer than this. It wasn't. Texas against Duke. There's Texas quarterback and Heisman hopeful Vince Young. He saw a great performance by J.J. Redick.
A great performance by Redick. Not so great by the Texas defense. Redick goes for 41, 9 for 16 from behind the line. Texas did not fight back in the second half.
J.J. Redick, now a leader as Duke wins at 97-66. Billy Packard talked to him about that.
It's definitely a different experience. You know, I played it with Dante Jones and Chris Duhon early on in my career, and they were the leaders of our team last year. Daniel Ewing is a senior. So it's a little bit different, but I think our young guys are getting better. And as they continue to improve and grow up a little bit, we're going to continue to get better as a team.
In a game featuring number 1 against number 2, the 31-point margin of victory, the biggest since UCLA beat Houston by 32 in March of 1968. We're going to talk about comparisons. Nobody compared with J.J. Redick today.
And how about the comparison between this Duke team and the one that needed a miracle shot to beat Virginia Tech at home? Passion and intensity. I think Duke took a major step forward today.
Duke now 9-0, and Texas falls to 8-1. Akron at Louisville today against the Cardinals. Nick Dial, 12 today. The 3 here, he gets fouled on the play, completed the 4-point play, and Andre McGee with the steal. Watch this move. On the baseline by his man, Louisville on an early season roll.
Well, it's been a soft schedule in the early season. Juan Palacios going to dish to Brian Johnson. Things will get tougher for Louisville next weekend. They play at Kentucky.
Palacios, 17 points and 8 rebounds. Louisville 5-0 on the year. California at Kansas. Kansas Brandon Rush with the alley-oop. Julian Wright. Nice little touch here off the glass. 2 of his 11 points. And then Wright with the bounce pass ahead to Steven Vinson, who lays it in. Who is Steven Vinson?
You know, I didn't know before today. It only played 32 minutes, but Kansas has had major problems at the point guard spot. Vinson going to get the steal, leads to the alley-oop to C.J. Giles. I think Bill Self found himself a point guard today in Vinson.
69-56, the Jayhawks a winner over the Golden Bears. Road to the Final Four continues next Saturday at 2 Eastern time, an all bluegrass affair. 5th-ranked Louisville against number 15 Kentucky. And coming up tonight in primetime, Vern Lundquist calls all the action for Olay presents Ice Wars, the battle of the sexes.
Legends of the sport. Doing battle once again. this time with a twist. As Olay presents Ice Wars Battle of the Sexes. Tonight at 8 Eastern.
Vern, thank you. Singular at the half continues in just a moment.
CBS Sports college basketball coverage is sponsored by Singular, raising the bar. Capital One, what's in your wallet? And by Chevrolet, an American revolution.
Welcome back to Key Arena here in Seattle, where Oklahoma State leads Gonzaga by 10 at the break. Gus Johnson along with Coach Raftery, Eddie Sutton, defense, the story in the first half.
The guards, you've got to value the ball, and the pace for Gonzaga is not to their liking. They've got to move the ball, get Marson some more touches, but Oklahoma State absolutely terrific playing the passing lanes.
Let's take a look at the halftime stats. We talked about Oklahoma State defense holding Gonzaga to 33% shooting in the first half.
It's amazing. Fortunately, Gonzaga able to get to the free throw line.
And the stats are presented by Capital One. Also, Oklahoma State going right at the heart of the Gonzaga defense, leading 20-12 in points in the paint. Very good first half for the old coach's ball team.
Well, they came with a great game plan. Initially, Dove heads up on Morrison. Terrific performance defensively.
Curry, first shot of the second half, and he buries it.
Little screen down, not good D.
And Curry almost with the steal. Altidore Cespedes takes it away from him.
And you notice Dove never left Morrison. Here he is again.
There's Dove stepping into the passing lane. Gonzaga having a hard time getting their offense started.
Gus, you could make this shot.
No, I couldn't.
Oh, you know,
well,
maybe not. But a beautiful screen and faulty defense. And Curry in the game. Very important for this team.
Fargo down the lane. Nice look. Batista can't hold on. Blocked from behind by Eton. Byron Eton collapsing and rejecting it out of bounds, and a foul is called down.
Wow, and Eddie Sutton up, imploring. A nice penetration. You got to catch the ball. Batista very good at that, but here, a nice recovery. A little guy coming down, Eton, helping. And Eddie, who's been suffering from some bad back, up pretty quick. Spry.
So Batista at the line makes the first. Near the end of today's game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. To honor their determination and outstanding play, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each school's general scholarship fund, Chevy and American Revolution. 10-point lead for Oklahoma State. Eton, Mons, along with Bogan, Curry, and Dove inside. Curry can't hold on. Fargo, he's got Morrison. Back to Fargo, and he misses the chippy, but Altidore Cespedes is there for the foul.
That's what's up about Morrison. I mean, a lot of other guys would have taken that, gave his partner an easy opportunity.
First 3 minutes of the second half, very important for Oklahoma State.
Absolutely, they've got to get good shots now. Same play, get a good look.
Curry again, short. Bogan is there. Morrison tips it. Mallon tries to save it. And we'll stay right here. Gonzaga on the fast break, Coach.
Well, when you're in this particular play, give it back and forth. Defense can't center on you, can't pick up the charge, and everybody's got to get down the floor. Cespedes did.
2-3 zone now by Gonzaga. Yesterday, Coach Sutton was talking about attacking the pockets in the zone. What does that mean?
Well, the cracks between defenders. Get two guys to play one on the perimeter.
Curry. Eton. 12 to shoot. Curry. Mons. Got it.
Well, that was a great bailout, too. Curry didn't force it, found his partner.
42-32. Oklahoma State out of the Big 12. Fargo has it knocked away.
I think their pace has to be better on offense. They're a little too quick. Oh, goodness.
Beautiful. Eton. He's got Fargo with him. Left-handed layup, no. And a foul.
Kind of make it. Eddie Sutton really animated out on the floor. Whew. I'll tell you what, he knows they're playing very well, but this is a perfect trap, the great read. Eton, and this one you got to finish, and that's why you practice that offhand. Good hustle play, and very fortunate to get it back.
Eight steals for Oklahoma State. As Fargo brings it into the front court, he's got Mallon, Morrison, Batista, and Gerganius. Here's Gerganius from Oakland, California, and the foul on the floor. That one called on James Curry, and Byron Eton has lost about 25 pounds.
But he is built, though, isn't he?
Certainly
strong,
is.
Can really attack people. That defensive end. Nice double screen. Morrison's not even getting touches. Here's a little stagger for him.
Morrison backing down in the lane, draws the foul. Now that's what you call a smart basketball player. He's drawing contact now. He's the All-America. If you touch him, most likely he'll get a foul call.
I'll tell you, he really understands, though. You got to put it on the floor. Great recovery, I thought, defensively. And here, a little bit of a force. I think he was going to pass that initially to Baptista, who was in the lane.
Mons picks up his fourth. Now a sub coming in the game, Kenny Cooper. Adam Morrison. Game shots, game spots, game speed. His mantra for practice, and I've never heard that. And that was really interesting to hear that coming from a young guy.
Well, you know, that's part of growing up, too. Kids have been to so many clinics. They've played all over the world. They've got a better understanding, and they've been coached better longer. Mons out, and the key thing is he helped out for Dove anytime Morrison was in the area.
1-2-2, broken easily by Oklahoma State. Here's Eton. Curry. And he throws it away.
Not a good angle. Bring it down with the bounce.
34 for Gonzaga. Oklahoma State right now surprising the number 9 team in the country on top 42-34.
Now, Eddie Sutton knows this is a work in progress right now. They're not happy with that entry pass. They expect more out of Curry. Nice cut.
Morrison. And his foul.
Wow. Now that's the feel we were talking about earlier. Knowing when to go, when to step, and when to put the puppies down. Pretty play.
Free throw shooting has kept Gonzaga in this game 14 of 16. They lead the nation from the line 84% as Morrison hits the first.
See, your folks probably kept score just to know they were enjoying the game. How many shots did my son have?
Morrison off the mark on the second free throw. He's a 76% free throw shooter at 6'9". 42-35. Jamal Brown back in. So they go with the small backcourt of Brown and Eton. Brown finding a pocket.
The blow by. Put it on the deck and nobody pinched.
That's what Eddie Sutton was talking about in practice yesterday. Fargo wraps it around.
Nice look.
Batista double teamed.
He got pushed.
And Morrison almost threw it out of bounds. We'll stay right here.
They are just ragging him. He doesn't get an easy touch. And watch this little shove, just enough to possibly cause the turnover. They don't come up with it.
Marcus Dove making Morrison work for everything.
He's got the size and he's getting help.
Pargo, nice look. And he somehow tips it in.
Tough kid.
44-37.
I think they got Baptista underneath with the hold. Now they go the other way. Cooper.
Well, Cooper picks up the foul. Mark Few watching his team trying to mount a comeback here. Intensity is starting to rise in this building.
Eddie wants the refs to come over.
Spokane is 300 miles away from Seattle, but you know this is like a home game for the Zags. 16:03 to play, second half, 44-37. Adam Morrison, a childhood diabetic since the age of 12, and this is his routine during breaks. He'll check his sugar level, and if need be, he'll take a shot of insulin. And he's also turned out to be a model for children with diabetes to show that they, too, can live as a normal person. His father, John, has also organized a horse tournament in Spokane the past couple of years as a benefit for the American Diabetes Association.
It's a great example for young kids that they can go and do things and have a absolutely normal life. Terrific. And the response when that was first shown a few years ago, kids were calling the school and asking him to come over or bringing children to him. Just terrific.
Pargo hit his last shot. That one flat. Batista with two hands on the ball, and he can't hang on, out of bounds. Another timeout coming up. 15:45 to play. Second half, 44-37. Oklahoma State on top of the Zags. Tomorrow, can the Jaguars defense corral Peyton Manning and the Colts? Leslie Visser has the scoop. Also, the 2005 Heisman Trophy winner is live in the studio. All this and more tomorrow on the NFL Today. Always first on the field. Don't forget, coming up tonight, Ice Wars, presented by Olay, Brian Boitano, and the boys, along with 48 Hours Mystery.
How do you prepare for Peyton Manning? It changes calls when you do the football.
You can't,
right?
It's not even close.
Well, they prepared for Morrison, though. Eddie Sutton got ready for him. Dove flying all over, controlling him with assistance.
Marcus Dove has had an MVP-type game on defense against Adam Morrison. Bogan has led him in scoring with 15 points. Quiet in the second half, though. Now Dove beats Bogan. Quick release, partially blocked by Mallon. Zags can get even closer right now.
They've not been able to get in their early offense.
Mallon, force one up. And the rebound goes to Kenny Cooper.
Took his legs away.
Jamal Brown along with Dove, Curry, Bogan, and Cooper. Curry around a screen.
Boy, great activity on the defense.
Dove inside, has it stripped away by Morrison.
They got to get Morrison in the trail. There you go.
Rises, that one way off the mark. Batista with the banker. And here come the Zags. Batista, 11 points, that's 7 at halftime.
And Gus Dove didn't let him get a good look. Great hustle. And Mallon with the small change on that foul, but they expect to get Morrison that kind of a look. And you just see Dove. Oh my goodness, that is just great effort. Gets a piece. And unfortunately, Baptista in the right spot, but good counter.
Oklahoma State is led by as many as 12. Gonzaga chipping away. Curry.
Oh, again, leave Bogan alone. Didn't communicate.
Step in. Wow.
Morrison was trying to get Baptista out there. Somebody's got to cover him.
Mario Bogan, the junior from Durham, with 17 points. Pargo picks up the dribbles. Backdoor, Mallon. Bogan right there. Now Batista going to work. Across the lane. Jump hook won't go. Dove is there. Morrison takes it away. And he's fouled.
That's where he's effective. Being in the right spot. But communicating at the other end. A little difficulty between Morrison and Baptiste. Right here, he just stays after it. Very aggressive around the rim.
Hogan called for the foul. His second, as Adam Morrison goes to the line. He was the MVP of the Maui Invitational. Gonzaga has played a very tough schedule. They beat Maryland and Michigan State, two top 20 teams. Lost 65-63 to Connecticut. Also lost to in-state rival Washington. Rivio hurt in that game. Rivio didn't play against Washington State on Thursday.
This is a tough group of kids, though. Despite Rivio not being out there, hanging, making some subtle adjustments, not turning it over, most importantly.
Morrison with 14 points. Now Curry. Off the dribble, gets down the lane, hands it off. That's what you want from James Curry. As Torrey Johnson Jr. misses the field goal, and yesterday in practice, Eddie Sutton stopped practice for about 8 minutes, and he said, you guys have to complete 3-point plays.
How about this, though? Curry unselfish, and you're right. You got to finish, and Curry so excited about making that pass.
Third foul on Mallon. As Johnson Jr. sinks the first. James Curry has struggled with his shot this season. He was voted as the preseason Big 12 Player of the Year based on his performance last year. Second one goes for Johnson Jr. 8-point lead. 48-40 for Oklahoma State.
Dove not looking to help out. Well, they didn't get it to him in time.
Weave up top now for Gonzaga. Morrison drives baseline. Cut off by Dove. Oh, extra pivot and a foul.
Guy's tough. Keeps the pivot foot. Whew. A lot of screens. Get one out here. Disregards. Now watch him stay control with that left foot. And hang enough to get nailed.
Petway called for the foul, but how about Marcus Dove? As I mentioned in the first half, he made a living guarding Tony Allen, Joey Graham, John Lucas every practice. And they have challenged him today to guard the nation's leading scorer in Adam Morrison as we get Pendergraft coming into the game. And Batista takes a seat.
And Dove's one of those guys, a lot of hustle plays on the other end. Scraps. And what a tough guy to play because he gets to the free throw line frequently. You see that?
Curry. And Curry battling for the rebound. And James Curry will pick up the foul. His second.
Good hustle play here by Curry as well. Tough, you know, you're wrestling for it. Doesn't go your way.
Morrison 9 of 13 from the line, shooting 1 and 1 now. Oklahoma State over the limit. He's gotten most of his points at the free throw line. 16 now for Adam.
Now, Gus, check Curry when he checks out the shooter, Morrison, on this play. See if he does the same thing.
Second one goes down.
Yeah, it didn't stick him all the way he had.
48-43. Largest lead has been 12. And now the Zags get in the game. Here come their fans. Curry. Johnson Jr. with the rebound. Curry again. The kick. Brown quiets things down.
Dagger. Both penetration and kick.
Margot dips inside. Pendergraft lost it. Mallon picks it up and a foul on the baseline.
You were asking earlier about getting into gaps. This is just a great job. The penetration and the kick back, and look at the distance. Whew, get the puppy set, knock it down.
Petway called for his third foul as Mallon goes to the line and shoots 1 and 1. 19 fouls against Oklahoma State. Mark Few, who's developed into one of the great coaches in college basketball.
They play free, don't they? They're very loose. Bill Greer, Leon Rice, of course, Jerry Krause over there too, former Eastern Washington coach, who was at Oregon State for Ralph Miller. Very confident. They love to play anybody good. They don't back off.
Couple of free throws good for Mallon. Batista back in. And look at these Zags fans. They are on their feet in the Emerald City. Oklahoma State trying to weather the storm here. Curry down the lane, the kick. Can Brown do it again? Yes! What has Brown done for you?
Oh, he can deliver.
54-45. Jamal Brown has 10 points. 8 coming in the second half.
And Curry's got 2 assists on those plays.
Morrison. Spinning. Fires. Right in his hip pocket.
5 on 4 here.
Curry steps into a 3. And a whistle.
They got a little small change. Altidore, Cespedes.
And we come to a timeout on the floor.
54-45 the score. Oklahoma State with the lead. Jamal Brown pulling up from downtown and hitting.
CBS Sports college basketball coverage is sponsored by the Home Depot. You can do it. We can help. Sonic. It's not just good. It's Sonic good. And by refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
Welcome back. Jamal Brown has hit some clutch shots in this game.
Well, he's handling it beautifully, but I just love what they've been able to do. The driving, and then you get into the gut of the defense by Curry. He has been very unselfish here. How about that special delivery? Nylon!
11:32 to play in the second half. Curry along with Brown in the backcourt. Bogan, Petway, and Dove in the front court.
And there's that 2-3 zone on the out of bounds. Get in the gaps, get between defend. There's a nice job with the dribble.
Curry kicks it back to Brown again. And Brown hustles and gets the rebound and a timeout.
Heads up. Ooh. They are so alert today. A lot of hard work has gone into this.
11-11 to play in the second half. Oklahoma State really hustling down the loose balls, and that's why they lead 54-45. Tomorrow on CBS is Survivor Sunday. After 60 minutes, see the final challenges and the final vote. That will make one survivor a millionaire, followed by the live reunion tomorrow on CBS, America's #1 network. Gus Johnson, Miller Aftery, Key Arena.
And speaking of money, how about Brown lately?
He has been money. You're absolutely right, Coach. Curry doing a nice job for Oklahoma State as well. More of a point guard role, finding open shooters. There he is on the baseline.
He's been getting it to others. Tough luck.
Nice look. Dove somehow comes up with it. Here's Curry. 9 to shoot. He's got to hurry. Fires. Rims off. Batista with the rebound. Alpargo, Batista, Morrison, Pendergraft, and Altidore Cespedes. Pendergraft steps out. Foot on the line.
Oh, goodness, if he can knock those down. I've watched him practice, Gus. He's got a stroke, but generally it's hustle outstanding defense and thoroughly enmeshed in the game.
He's a 54% shooter. Pendergraft, a sophomore from Brewster, Washington. Hogan. Batted around. Batista with the rebound. Oklahoma State has led by as many as 12 against number 9, Gonzaga. They've played excellent defense and come up with timely baskets, 54% shooting for them in the first half. But you get the feeling that Gonzaga is ready to make a run.
And, you know, they thought Mallon was in play when he turned Baptiste. He stood up on the sideline. Mark Few almost received the pass.
Each team with 13 turnovers.
Oklahoma State's done a nice job handling both defenses, man-to-man and zone, with dribble drives and then finding people.
2-3 zone, not effective for Gonzaga against Oklahoma State today. They found those pockets in the zone. Curry does right there in the corner. That's an air ball by Flemings, out of bounds. Oklahoma State is shooting 51%. Gonzaga 34% as Torrey Johnson Jr. comes back in. Adam Morrison, the preseason All-America, nation's leading scorer, has gotten most of his points today from the free throw line.
And now it's Bogan on him, giving Dove a rest.
Fargo, short.
Numbers.
James on Curry. Showing patience. Curry stop and start to the basket, no trouble. Bogan with the rebound, blocked from behind by Batista. Altidore Cespedes tracks it down. Here comes Pierre. And it's kicked by Torrey Johnson Jr.
Well, they've done a great job, Oklahoma State, getting back and identifying Morrison. He's been very frustrated, not getting touches.
Morrison on the day, 3 of 10 from the field, but he's 11 of 15 at the free throw line. Batista jump hook short. And the rebound goes to OSU.
One and done. Solid defense.
So Oklahoma State rebuilding this season after serving as one of the top teams in the nation the past 3 years. Gonzaga no longer a Cinderella team. They are legitimate contenders for a national title.
Now they've got the X on their back now, and they've got to play like they're still the Hunters.
They've outgrown the slipper. Curry, 16-foot riser, and he still can't get anything to fall. Here comes Morrison. Fargo down the lane. The Gonzaga defense has stiffened Oklahoma State over their last 8. Here come the Zags. 54-49. And let's take a look at the game summary presented by Cisco Systems. Oklahoma State scoreless in their last 4 minutes and 38 seconds.
Well, they got away a little bit. The three-point field goals were effective on dribble, drive, and kick out. Morrison getting to the free throw line. But how about the job Oklahoma State's done defensively?
Unbelievable for Eddie Sutton's basketball team. Marcus Dove has really done a terrific job of staying in front of Adam Morrison.
They've all helped, but you're right. Dove has been magnificent. This was early in the game, and he was able to step and go. get the ball into the lane, into the scoring area, but it's been pretty much his ability to make free throws. Without Rivio in there to run the show, the guys have been more solid in the second half. The guards turned it over early.
Derek Rivio is a very good three-point shooter. He's a guard, and he has a tender back, so he's not in attendance. Well, he's not on the floor, rather, this evening.
Poise, you need poise.
Here's Curry. Mons. Not a good shot. Bogan is there. Can't get it to fall. Gets his own rebound and banks it home.
Staying with it.
First basket in the last 4 minutes and 38 seconds. For Oklahoma State, they were 0 for their last 8 prior to that one.
And Bogan doing a good job denying the initial touch to Morrison.
Gonzaga just can't get over the hump. Here's Morrison again, dumps it down. Batista fouls. Oklahoma State coach contesting everything.
And the ability of Morrison to get in the lane attracts so many dark shirts. It loosens up the passing lane. How about this? Everybody coordinated to stop Morrison. And here's just Hustle staying in with it. The bigs staying under the rim.
So that sends J.P. Batista to the free throw line. First one good. Gonzaga 22 of 27 at the free throw line today. As Bogan heads out. Great free throw shooter.
Truthfully.
9-point ball game. The freshman Eton comes back in with Dove, Mons, Johnson, and Curry.
Straight up man.
10 seconds to shoot. Here's the high pick and roll. Eton turns the corner. Curry looking. He's got to get something going. Great crossover, pivot, fade away.
Big
And the bounce.
Big time maneuver.
58-51. Curry has been struggling. Only 6 points. Scoreless against Northwestern State in their last game.
I'm sure Eddie said, loosen him up with the bounce.
Curry 3 of 11 from the field today.
They stagger to Morrison. He can't get a clean look.
Pendergraft, rebound, rejected by Dove. And Eton tries to save it.
And nothing easy around the rim. Get it out of town. Guess. Big time. Think you got an easy one? Now this is just gorgeous. These reverse pivot and feel.
Approaching the 5-minute mark. Morrison again, working to the basket. Johnson Jr. pins it on the glass, but goaltending is the call.
What'd you think? I thought it was on the way up.
It looked like it was on the way up to me.
What a great job by Batista here, holding them off. Ooh, on the way up.
But Oklahoma State has found a way to come up with timely baskets. Here's a team that lost at home to Northwestern State. Curry kicks it. Dove not a threat to shoot. He has an injured wrist. Eton 10 to shoot. Eton hard to the basket. Knocked away. Picked up. And a foul called on Eton. Altidore Cespedes reached in.
Who'd they give it to?
They gave it to Eton, and that's his 5th.
That's not right. Cespedes is the one that initiated it.
So Eton fouls out with 7 points. And that brings Jamal Brown back in.
I guess that's a shame, really. This is one of those plays, bang, bang. I thought that was the foul. Huh? Off the dribble, get a little move.
Looked like a foul to me on Altidore Cespedes.
I don't know if the ref confused the two. Tough to take your lead guard out. And boy, is that a tough turn of events.
So Pierre Altidore Cespedes hits one of two. He's a sophomore from Montreal. 4-point lead for Oklahoma State as the Zags fans stand here in Seattle. Cowboys have had an answer for every Gonzaga run.
I think Johnson's got to help them offensively. Relying on the guards.
Curry may have to hit a big shot. He has struggled, but is their best scorer.
There's a double high.
7 to shoot. Brown to Curry. 3 to shoot. He's got to go. The runner, no. Tipped up and in.
Who was it?
Mons.
Mons. My goodness.
The
Very
lead back
impressive.
up to 6 and a timeout. Gonzaga. And Mark Few has some words for the official.
Great defense negated. How about being in the right spot? Mons, put him money.
$60 to 54. Oklahoma State continues to lead.
You can see by the shot clock. Great defense. And Curry very alert, but Mons, nobody stuck him. You've got to get down, get into the thighs of the offensive rebounder.
David Mons with the beautiful follow has 8 points. He's a junior from Macon, Georgia. Adam Morrison leading the way for Gonzaga with 19. 11 of those points coming from the free throw line.
And Dove is back on Morrison.
Batista posting up. Spins on the baseline, goes up strong.
Oh my goodness, power and footwork. Nice call from the bench. Get it inside. Let the big fella.
Batista with 15. And a timeout has been called by Oklahoma State. But J.P. Batista going to work on the baseline.
Eddie's mad at the defense, but this is just extraordinary spin-out ability. 250, flawless, to the 10.
Oklahoma State has played a great basketball game on both sides of the ball. Offensively, they've come up with huge baskets, and they have really shut down this Gonzaga basketball team on defense.
There's a lot of weapons, Baptista being one of them. His understanding, defensively, you've got to give ground so he can't spin around you. And I think that's what drew the ire of Eddie Sutton.
Gonzaga shooting 35%. And on the season, they're a 49% shooting team. Jamal Brown, Dove, Bogan, Curry, Mons. And the Cowboys. Pick and roll, Curry and Bogan. Curry, stop and starts, a teardrop, no. Pendergraph there. Bogan takes it away from him, and he can't keep it in bounds.
Think Curry made a great move. Just did not convert.
And the timeout on the floor, exactly 3 minutes remaining.
3 minutes to play in the second half. 4-point ball game in Seattle. Back after this. Oklahoma State up by 4. Let's take a look at the CBS Sports Line stat of the game. It's free throw shooting, where Gonzaga has earned a living at the line, 25 of 31. But defense for Oklahoma State has been the key. Eddie Sutton one of the great defensive minds, and they're holding opponents to 12.7 points below their season scoring average. Gonzaga averages 83 points per game, and they're at 56 right now.
They make you work. Morrison playing that point forward mentality.
Pargo, Morrison running the baseline, takes a three. Got it!
Ooh, a double screen. Great call.
Gonzaga within one, and this place is rocking. Oklahoma State trying to claw a victory against the #9 Zags. Who will step up for the Cowboys? They need scoring. Curry. And a foul on the baseline.
Morrison is relentless. A great job here. The call from the bench to set up, get everybody thinking you're going one way, come the other, and get the puppies organized. You can just see nobody slipped the screen. Nobody got out. Hasn't had many clean opportunities.
Only the 5th field goal for Morrison, who has 22 points now. 2:18 to go, 1-point game. James on Curry. And the Cowboys have to find a go-to man.
They don't have anybody scoring inside. That's the problem.
Bogan, the kick, and a whistle. Foul on the floor.
Prendergast.
And that's only the 15th foul against the Zags.
They've done a nice job camouflaging defensively. Little zone, a little man, a little match.
New shot clock, though. Pendergraft called for his second. Dove, Brown, Curry, Bogan, Mons. Curry has been great, penetrating and kicking. Jamal Brown has been the beneficiary, and he travels.
Pendergraft with a hand hedge, just terrific. Just terrific here with that little hand hedge, just enough to cause the turnover. The redhead.
Now Morrison brings it in the front court and calls a timeout. Here we go, 1:38 to play second half. We've got a 1-point game. This is supposed to be a neutral site. I don't think so. Spokane's about 300 miles away from Seattle, but the Zags fans are here and representing their team. Gonzaga with the chance to take the lead. Coach, the last time they led this game, the score was 1-0.
Incredible performance, I think, by Oklahoma State on the defensive end. Now, Morrison is out of the gate.
Well, let me correct myself. The last time they led, it was 24-23 at the 6:14 mark of the first half.
This is where Baptista is tough. See if they go to him. If they can't get at him.
Morrison just hit a big three. Picks up his dribble. Pendergraft looking inside for the big man. He's got him. Seals, pumps, and Gonzaga has the lead. .114 to play. 61-60. The 9th-ranked Zags have climbed the mountain. Brown. Down the lane, the runner, no, and a whistle.
I think Pargo didn't move the feet. How about the target, Gus? I mean, the frame, the presentation on the low box, much to Eddie's chagrin. Look at this opportunity here. And then the sprint and the kiss. It's not Spokane, but nevertheless, it works in Seattle, too.
How about the great entry pass by Pendergraft?
Solid kid.
Under a minute to go. Brown, Dove, Curry. Brown on the baseline. No! Picked up! And a whistle inside coming up against Gonzaga.
They've done a great job on the boards, Oklahoma State. Brown with that opportunity, the courage to put it on the deck and take it to the rim.
Pendergraft called for his third.
And right here, this is one of those jobs you got to come up with the rebound if you're Gonzaga. But look at all the dark shirts clearing bodies out.
Brown with 2 points at halftime. He has 10 now. And he ties it up at 61. Jamal Brown, 5'10" from Chicago.
Courage and form. That's what you rely on.
Brown for the lead. And he has it. 62-61. 44 seconds to go. Timeout called by Gonzaga. 43 seconds to go. Back to Seattle right after this. The game reset, each team with a timeout remaining. Oklahoma State, 10 team fouls, Gonzaga with 7. So Gonzaga is shooting 2 on every foul. Next foul, and Oklahoma State will shoot 1 and 1. If you're Gonzaga, what do you run here?
Well, I think what they'll try is to get Morrison involved. They love to run him high, foul line extended. 2 men on the same side, and he steps and goes. They did it against the University of Washington. He got a layup. If that's taken away, go to the baptism of fire. The big guy.
Morrison running the baseline right now. Dub right in his hip pocket. He picks up his dribble and has to call a timeout.
Last one.
The inexperience of a freshman point guard.
And they had it set up for the wing step and go by Morrison. Keep it alive. Ooh.
Back in a moment. Gonzaga out of timeouts. 33.5 remaining on the game clock. Zags have 22 seconds on the shot clock.
Plenty of time to reverse the ball, Gus. Run a couple of sequences. They ran that double screen for a long jumper for Morrison earlier. They still like to get him on the wing and let him step and go or beat his guy.
Morrison, Pendergraft, Batista, Hargo, Altidore, Cespedes. And they will look for the All-America. Morrison, 15 to shoot. 10 to shoot. Altidore, Cespedes, Pendergraft. Nice look, Hargo blocked. Bogan, what a play! And he's fouled. Mario Bogan.
Oklahoma State is all defense. Super move by Mario.
So Mario Bogan will go to the line. Watch this play.
And look how they're screened out and how far he has to come. That is just a terrific response by Bogan. You think you got an easy one. Get it out.
And he got all ball. Pendergraft picks up his 4th. Bogan, a 72% free throw shooter. And he misses. Zags, no timeout. They've got to hurry. Here comes the All-America. Morrison, 6. Fires! Oh! Get a 3! What a game! Larry Bird! Baby! Whoa!
Look at the clock. And when you're sleepless in Seattle, why not get a little kiss? Gus! Oh, Major Onions! All on his own. Look at the contesting. Oh, what a smooch! Woo! Wow!
Crunch time, you go to your best player.
This kid is extraordinary. And watch the contesting, Gus. It's not like he's standing still. 2 defenders knowing, look at that.
Adam Morrison refusing to let his team lose. Mom and Dad in the stands.
Oh. Look at the reaction. You know, there's 2 great coaches here. Marv Harshman, a former UW coach, and of course, Shun Heathcote, the Michigan State coach. How about the job both of these teams have done? Their respective coaches and the reaction of players. You can go to half court and get a nice dribble and still get a shot if you're Oklahoma State.
The MVPs, Bogan and Morrison, no surprise. But we still have time. 2.5 seconds remaining. Here come the Cowboys. They'll have to go the length of the floor.
They're not contesting the inbound passer. They've got a free safety in Prendergast.
So right now it's 5-on-4. Brown the inbounder.
You've got to force the catch going away from the Oklahoma State basket.
Curry will get it.
He'll get a look.
Here's Curry. Let it go. No! Gonzaga comes back and somehow shocks Oklahoma State. Adam Morrison is the best basketball player in college basketball. 64-62. He finishes with 25.
Ouch! Take a look at a big-time performer, Morrison, and then the counter. This is almost a walk here, and Curry gets a good look, very dangerous, almost gets it to go down. I think Oklahoma State has found their team, though, Gus. And Gonzaga, the beat goes on for the Zags.
One more look at the game winner, Adam Morrison. They compare him to Larry Bird. Watch this play. Time running down. The young man from Spokane with a huge shot. And Gonzaga wins it 64-62. For Bill Raftery, this is Gus Johnson saying so long from the Emerald City.
Oh.